Howdy, I'm Olivia,
And I am Julia.
and welcome back to the Hive. Or if you're new, welcome. By clicking on this episode, you have entered our Hive, a space where we can all geek out about movies, TV, books, music, celebrities, and decide whether our topic of the week is a pop culture high or low. This is Hives and Lows. What happened last week? Or this week? Last week.
This last
Last week.
last week.
Well, a big thing happened last week in pop
Yeah,
culture news, which
yeah,
is
and I know
very
that you're
sad.
gonna react more to it than I am. I'm sorry for your
Yeah,
loss.
yeah. Liam Payne of One Direction died, for people who don't know. And I am a big One Direction fan. I have been for a very long time, since I was 11 years old. So that's been a big part of my life. They have never dropped out of my top artists on Spotify Wrapped. I saw them in concert when I was 14, and to this day, it was the best time of my life. So definitely hit me really hard. I do have this, though, in memoriam for him. It is a keychain of his. This is from 2012.
And it's in packaging.
And it's in the packaging. The only one I took out was Harry, because I had him like on my backpack and stuff, because he was my favorite back then too. But yeah, the only one I don't have is Niall. But yeah, it is very, very sad for me. I literally, so I have friends who like on Twitter, they were like, wait a minute, Liam from One Direction died? And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, all my Argentina mutuals were saying that, like it's all over the news. And I was like, what? So then I looked it up. It literally wasn't trending or anything. And I was like, maybe this is just like, fake, whatever. So then I just like stopped like looking at it. But then it was like eating away at me. I was like, oh my God. So then I called my mom, because my mom is one of those people who's like, you give her a first name and she will find out everything. So I like called my mom and I was like, "Can you find this out?" And she was like, "Okay." So we were looking, and as we were doing research, that's when the TMZ thing came up. And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh my gosh!" And so then, literally, it was like a minute ago. Whenever I clicked on the TMZ thing, and for those who don't know what TMZ did, they posted pictures of his body. So that was not cool. And I saw that. I mean, it
Oh
was just
no.
his arm and his torso, and then they tried to make it like better by being like, um, well, obviously we didn't put the whole picture of his body, but here's his arm and his torso. As if I wanted
Okay,
to see
that's
that, or if anyone wanted to see that. It's so disrespectful. So, um, then like my mom started like hysterically sobbing, and then I was like, when I react to things like death or whatever, it takes a bit for me to like my for my brain to catch up that it's real. So
yeah.
I was like not processing it at all. And like I didn't cry until like the like that night. Like I was like alone in my room, and like just like I that's whenever I started crying. And I literally like wasn't processing like what was going on. Like people were telling me, and I was seeing it all over, and like people who hadn't talked to me since middle school and high school, because I was the One Direction girl. Like I would write their names down on my hand on their birthdays. Like I was the One Direction girl. They're back here on my collage thing. For those who are just listening, I have a collage behind me. Their autographs are back here on the collage thing behind me. But like, yeah, it's just like it's very sad, and it's just the paparazzi have been awful.
Oh
They've
yeah.
been so terrible. Like his dad at the
Oh.
hotel, like went to the hotel where Liam died, because there was like a memorial thing outside, and he obviously went there to go get the body, like not the hotel, but to Argentina. And there's like a memorial thing outside the hotel. And he went to the hotel to look at the memorial, and all the fans were around and stuff. And the paparazzi were like hounding him, and just like his kid died.
Let
Like,
people grieve, man, in peace.
it is so gross. And like, they're all the fans were like basically making like a human shield around his dad so that the paparazzi couldn't see him. And I'm just like, you know what, for all the things, all the bad things directioners are, and
I'll
that
give
includes
them
me,
this.
and that includes me. I just want to say I am like literally OG One Directioner, but for all the bad things we do a lot of good, and that is one of the good things that we've done. Yeah, it's just so sad, and it just like still it kind of doesn't feel real to me. But yeah, and then like all the boys, they all posted their like, I guess their like goodbye message or whatever on Instagram, which is just like, oh my gosh, like that made it like super real also, because now it's like, well, they all now. It's like I know, like I knew they all knew, but it's like in your brain, you're like, well, now they all know, and now it's like really over. You know, it's like so sad, and like I usually don't get hit by celebrity deaths, but this one hit me. But like I feel like I've been more prepared to like deal with it because when Chadwick Boseman died, that was huge for me.
Yeah.
That was huge for me, and I was already going through a rough time mentally. And I was alone. It was like COVID in my dorm room, and we weren't allowed to go to in-person class or even go see anybody else. So it was really just like I was isolated, and a celebrity I really love just died. And like, so like if I was in a worse place mentally and I hadn't have dealt with that before, I feel like I would have been in a way worse place
Mhm.
with this than I am right now. I'm not okay with it. But it's like I'm dealing. Um yeah. So what did you have to say about it? Did you say you had?
Yeah, I came out of a movie theater and found out the news there. So I was like, "Oh, I'm getting all these notifications." So I'm more so of the outsider view because I wasn't a One Direction fan, but I know a lot of people who are. One of my best friends is, so I had to check in on her. I was some of your middle school and high school people checking in on you for my best friend. But supposedly her sister called her before me, so at least she got some support there. She also has a One Direction tattoo, so I was like, oh, I need to check in on her. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks that the paparazzi is being the paparazzi.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah, it's
So,
just like so like awful. Like it's just like gross.
mm-hmm.
And then like I understand that like some people, so for just a little bit of background about what was happening before he died. He was his ex-girlfriend Maya was accusing him of some abusive things, and then some other people came out about it. And as soon, literally, I said to my mom, as soon as we like got confirmation, I was like, people are gonna go blame it on her
Yeah,
immediately.
that
I was
was
like, people are.
disgusting. I was like, are you kidding me?
It makes me so mad. And then he was in Argentina for Niall's show, and then people were going to Niall and being like, "Well, he was in Argentina because of you."
I saw a
And I was
comment
like,
like
"Wait,
that, and I was like, what?
what?" Like these people are just like, I'm like, it's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, it's so gross. And um, and then there are people who are like, uh well, he was abusive, so I can't really be sad about it, or like whatever. And I'm like, I get where you're coming from, but like also it was like even if, you know, you're correct in that or whatever. It's like he also has people around him who cared about, like his girlfriend who left days before. So I'm like, I can't even like fathom what she's going through. She literally left that hotel like days before. And then his parents, his sisters, the other bandmates, his son, like
Yeah.
it's just like have a little bit of decorum. Like,
Yeah. And I also think sometimes like it's hard to grieve also when you have mixed feelings. So I'm also like the ex-girlfriend, I'm sure, is also going through that right now.
right.
So I don't think blaming it on her is gonna help
Right.
at all, no matter what. So
Yeah, it's just like yeah, like there are people online who are like, I can't believe how many people are like grieving this abuser or whatever. And I'm like, he was a huge part of my childhood. It like whether or not like what he has turned into or whatever the case may be, it's like he was still a huge part of my childhood. Like some of the happiest times of my life were just like sitting and watching like One Direction funniest videos um or going and like waiting in line to get tickets for the movie or going to the concerts or like whatever it is. It's just like he was a part of that. Like, and it's just it kind of feels like a lot of people are like it's almost like your childhood is like dying in a way, and it's like that's it feels like that. It was like it feels very like final and like in a way that's like just it's so upsetting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should move on to something lighter. R.I.P. Liam Payne. But we should move on to something lighter, which is the chicken shop date with Andrew Garfield.
I knew we had the same taste. I haven't watched the full thing yet because I've had a busy weekend, but the clips that I have seen are
Yes.
amazing. And also someone like made fan art of it, like a book cover, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
It is the best rom-com I have seen in about 5 years.
I think someone put it on Letterbox, so
I have to go. I have to go immediately. Um, yeah, it was so good. And I'm just like, they listen. I'm not the person to ship real life people. Funny, we were just talking about One Direction, as these people were shipped all the time. But I'm not the person to ship real life people. However, this is the exception.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would just like I'm just like, Andrew, either like you are an amazing actor or you're in love with this woman.
That's so true.
Yeah, what have you been seeing? I know you didn't watch it, but like the
I
clips.
saw there were a lot of clips of essentially him like complimenting her a lot.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing a thing where she's like Mary no it was Mary something and then forget, and it was her and then Toby Maguire and Tom Holland, and he was like, I'm sorry, but I can't forget about those guys. Like he's like Rose before girls.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then he kept being like, if this were a real date, like
Yeah.
he kept saying that. He was like, if this were a real date, like without cameras, or he would be like, how do you think this would go if there like weren't cameras here or whatever? And I'm just like, do you understand? If I were her, I would be like, so what are we? Like,
No, I would be doing the same exact thing. The camera's cut, and I'm like, okay, so where do
so
you
yeah.
actually want to go?
I'd be like, so we're actually going on a date, right? Like after this, like, um, yeah, no, because if he were talking like that to me, and if he were looking at me the way that he was looking at her, it's over. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
um, what have you watched this week?
I actually watched Blade Runner for the first time.
The first one for the first time?
So I have a weird,
Wow.
complex relationship with Blade Runner, as in, I saw the sequel when it came out. It was like my first rated R film in theaters, but I had never seen the first.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, which is, I know, so odd. I think just my parents just were like, "Do you want to see Blade Runner 2049?" And I'm like, "Sure." And even when I watched Blade Runner 2049, I was like, "This is a good movie." So like, even without the context of the original Blade Runner, I was like still on board. I definitely like the second one a little more, but maybe that's just because I like the storyline a little bit more in that one. This one's more of a
Okay.
like a hunt have you seen it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely like the first one more, so I'm interested in why you like the
Oh,
second one more.
well, then again, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think I just like, I also haven't seen the second one in a while to compare
Okay.
it to this. So I might rewatch it soon just to be like, okay. Um I'm trying to remember, like, at least we watched the director's cut.
Okay. There you go.
Do you know about the director's
I
cut?
do know about I've never seen it, but I do
Okay.
know
So
about it.
you've seen the actual like theatrical release.
I've seen whatever my dad had on TV when I was younger.
Okay, was there narration with it?
No.
Okay, so you're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for context, essentially they had a version of Blade Runner because they thought the audience wouldn't understand it. They put Harrison Ford voiceover over it and no one
Yeah,
liked it.
I
Um
knew about that, but I thought it was mm, I guess I thought that that was the director's cut.
no, it's the
Okay.
opposite.
Whatever my
So
dad had on is
yeah,
what is
no,
what I
no, and that, see, your dad has good film opinions, so obviously that makes sense that he would play that version.
know.
I think maybe just because I felt like we didn't really get to know the characters of the first one. I think at least with the second one, I'm like, okay, there's this guy, Ryan Gosling's character, and he's the. But I do think it's still a good movie. I think maybe because I
Yeah.
like the stylization of maybe the second one more,
Okay.
like just like how it looks too. But then again, like I said, I haven't seen the second one to compare it to the first one because when I saw it, I had never seen the first one. So,
Yeah. I think I think the last time I watched both of them was for a film class, so it had to have been at least 2 years ago.
oh, okay. But I
So,
want to hear what you think because you said you like the first one better.
like I said, I saw them both 2 years ago. Not for the first time, but I saw the second one for the first time 2 years ago when I was in class, and I just remember liking it better. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
remember I liked it better.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. Wait, there. I don't know if you want to move on to this topic, but I just remembered something, like some pop culture news.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember. We've referenced this movie before, but you've seen American Psycho, right?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
thank you. So they announced that Lionsgate is going to do American Psycho with, oh my god, it's Luca, and then
Luca,
it starts with a
oh
G.
gosh. Yeah.
He's the director of Call Me by Your Name,
Challengers.
Challengers,
Challengers.
and then he's also the director of the upcoming movie Queer with Daniel
Yep.
Craig and Drew Starkley, I think. But when I first heard this news, I was like, no, please don't
Me too.
remake American Psycho. But then he like said I guess like they came out, or he came out and said, this is an adaptation of the original novel, not a
Right.
remake of the film with Christian Bale. And I was like, okay,
I just
I'm good
remember
with that.
somebody was like, well, whatever it is, it's gonna be aggressively bisexual.
I saw that.
Which is
So many
so funny.
articles came out and was like, what queer guy should play.
Yeah, and
Patrick
I gave a
Bateman.
suggestion of who it should be on my. Somebody tweeted it, and it was what I first thought of, and then I put it on my story, and you commented on it. But it's Finn Wittrock,
Oh yes, yes, yes. The guy from, well, you know him from American Horror
American Horror
Story,
Story.
and I know him from Halloween Town High.
Yes, he's the love interest in Halloween Town High, and he is Dandy in Freak Show, and I think that's the first one he was in. So I'm gonna say he was Dandy in Freak Show. He was in other seasons too, but he's so good. He's so good, and I'm like, he could do it. He
Yeah,
could
that
do
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah, and then people are like, please get somebody needs to get like one of those Men in Black like memory erasers and erase Jacob Elordi from Luca's mind so that they won't go in that direction.
No, I know. I sent a thing to my friend because it was like the announcement, and then someone retweeted it with Jacob Elordi somewhere, and it's like a headache down on the on the pavement, and I was like, dude, I don't know much about Jacob Elordi. I don't want him to play Patrick Bateman. There's other people that can do it.
I agree. And listen, this is coming from somebody who only sees Jacob Elordi as one person and one person only from Euphoria.
That's what I thought.
I literally, when I watch him in anything else, I'm like horrified. I'm trying to open my water bottle right now. We're holding the mic. It's like, it's like so hard. But yeah, I did hear about that, and it was like a flash of disappointment, and then I was like, well, this could be interesting actually.
Yeah. I think once they came out and said, it was really funny because I instantly, when I saw the news, I went, no, because American Psycho is one of my favorite films, and I was like, no, this should not be, no. And then later he was like, this is an adaptation of the original novel that is very different from the 2000 film, and I was like, okay, I support that, because I think a lot of great films that are either being remade is usually from book adaptations, and they take different things from it. Like, that's why I love Greta Gerwig's Little Women, and I liked also the 1990s Little Women because it took different things from it and did something new with it. And he'll definitely do new things with American Psycho.
Oh yeah, I think if I were to trust anybody, I think Luca is the one I would.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, I watched 2 new movies this week. I watched Alien Romulus.
I'm watching that next week.
Which is so good.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Oh, I just hit the mic. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I watched Alien Romulus, and it was so good. It was so fun. I had a good time, but also it gave me a podcast episode idea. So I replaced what I said I was going to replace with that, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm not going to spoil what it is right now. But the other movie that I watched was The Substance, which I've had on my list for about I want to say close to a year. I've had on Letterboxd on my list. So I was like, I was gonna do a double feature with A Different Man when I went to go see that. And I didn't end up doing that, but I just watched it and I love it so much. What were you gonna say?
No, I've been wanting to see The Substance really badly, so I'm glad that you saw it.
It's so good. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
I like body horror.
Kind of.
Okay.
We'll see. I think I might. Maybe it will. I just heard a lot of really good things about the themes of like women in media and like age and stuff, and I think that's really cool. And also, at least from what I've been pitched to, it sounds a little like Dorian Gray, and I enjoy that kind of thing.
I love body horror, I think, which was also why I liked Alien Romulus. But anything where it's just like really gross, but it has a meaning, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm down with this.
Yeah.
And that had a lot of body horror elements in
and
it.
and it has something to do with, I think I liked American Werewolf in London, and I think that's like that one scene is body horror, at least in my opinion. So I think if it has something to do with I might be able to survive it. But I'm so glad that you saw it and thought it was good.
Yeah, my very first instance with body horror was the SpongeBob episode where where I think it's called I Once Was a Teenage Snail or something, where Squidward forgets to feed Gary while SpongeBob is away, and Gary's like starving, and then he's like he has to have snail plasma injected into him whenever SpongeBob gets back, and they accidentally poke SpongeBob with it, and then SpongeBob turns into a snail, and it is the most like it's actually like really like scary. Like it is like body horror. Like his body like contorts into a snail, and he can't talk. He's just meowing, and it's like it looks like it hurts. That is my very first instance of body horror.
Double feature, that SpongeBob episode and Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were Rabbit.
Quadruple feature if you add on the substance. And a different man.
That's so true.
The four greatest
cinema.
Of
That's
body
the
horror.
Letterboxd top 4.
Yeah. My Letterboxd top 4.
So real.
Okay, we should move on to our main topic, which I am very excited about. And we're adding something new to the podcast, by the way, guys. We're going to be deciding whether something is a pop culture high or a pop culture low, which is going to be fun.
Ooh.
All right. Would you like to introduce the main topic?
Yes. So, hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the Barbie cinematic universe. Now, what is the BCU? The BCU is all of the animated Barbie films, 52 of them, and how they either all connect or just how they are in order. Olivia, are you gonna look at the PowerPoint while I talk, or
I'm getting it up on my phone.
just take your time?
But you can like start, and then I'm gonna just have it up here.
So again, like I said, for those who don't know, so Barbie, the doll, yes, the doll that came out in the 50s, which was created by Mattel, and they also own the films. She's been featured in 52 animated films. And they also have animated series that are also included in this. And it's been going strong since 2001. And a lot of the Barbie fandom, yes, there is a fandom for Barbie. A lot of the Barbie movie fandom consists of new people that are watching the movies for the first time, but majority of it is people who watched them as kids and then grew up and was like, wait, genuinely, I do love this movie.
Yeah, I'm not a person well versed, which is why we're doing this. I'm not a person who's well versed in the Barbie movies. I've only seen one, famously, as Julia knows.
Yes. Do you want to say to the podcast which one you have seen?
I think we should wait till I get there.
Okay, perfect.
We'll get there.
So most of the Barbie films, as they're majority for young kids, majority for young girls, so a lot of the themes that are in it is being yourself, being strong, and having friends to support you. Her films usually have magic realism or some kind of sci-fi element. There's been some times that it's just been like a normal movie with Barbie like living her life, but there's always some kind of element of magic to it, which we'll get to more in the later. So to help me, so first we're going to go through the eras of Barbie movies. Now, I did take some of it from the Wikipedia for Barbie movies to like get the eras correctly, but I did name some of them by myself. So to help me introduce era 1, I have a special guest, and it's Bibble.
From the movie I saw.
So Bibble, What is
Oh,
the
for
first?
those who are just listening, there
Oh,
is a
right.
Bibble plushie that's out right now. If you would like to see it, we'll put a picture on Instagram.
Look at it. Okay. I'm just gonna put him here. Okay. So, era one is the classic era, and this is from 2001 to 2009. So, you're wondering to yourself, Julia, why did you use classic in the name? So, there's two reasons for this. One, they are usually in this era adaptations of classics. So, there's a lot of you'll see like a lot of public domain fairy tales or classics in this. So, you have like Rapunzel, Swan Lake, uh, uh, Christmas Carol, Thumbelina, Three Musketeers, all that kind of stuff. Um, so that's one of the reasons. And secondly, a lot of the fans that consider a lot of the fans of this the films of this era to be the classics of the series. So, like, if you met a Barbie fan, usually they will probably name a movie from this kind of time frame. Um, the characteristics I have for this era include fairy tale elements or retellings of known classics. This does exclude Barbie Diaries, but no one likes to talk about Barbie Diaries because it is very badly animated. If you just look up a single picture from that movie, it's not great. Also, the movies, most of them that are in like a fairy tale or classic setting, it will either start off with Barbie telling the story to either the audience or her sister, Kelly. So, like, for example, in Barbie Nutcracker, she's trying to teach her sister how to dance. And she's like, well, let me tell you the story of Clara and the Nutcracker. And you're like, okay. I don't know specific ones where it's her telling the story to the audience. I'm trying to remember that. But she does like talk to either her sister or young kids. Usually Barbie in
Like
this era.
random young kids, or
What?
like random young kids, or like.
I'm trying to remember. I have not seen Thumbelina in a while.
Okay.
So I might be wrong, but I think Thumbelina starts out with Barbie like giving she tells the story of Thumbelina to like a group of like Girl Scouts or something with the environment or something, because the film is very environmentalist, and then it ends up happening where she is like, haha, Thumbelina's real and I'm besties with her. Yeah, she just like comes out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
What?
it's insane. And then, okay, I do also have another thing to say, and this actually will be good for you. So, in Fairytopia,
That's the one I've seen.
that's the one you've seen. So Fairytopia is a trilogy. So usually a lot of the stories of this era are like just by themselves. Like you don't have to watch full Dancing Princesses to understand like Magic of the Pegasus. But Fairytopia is the only one in this era that is a trilogy. So there's three of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Barbie Fairytopia, Barbie Meridia, and Barbie Magic of the Rainbow. But also, there's another movie in the Fairytopia canon, and that is Barbie Mariposa. And
I know about that one,
yes,
but I don't know if I've ever seen it. That's the problem, is that some of these are like familiar like as a kid, but the only one I ever remember, because I had a doll that went with Fairytopia.
yeah,
So I'm like, I think that's the only one that I remembered. It might just be because of that, but I'm pretty sure it's the only one I've ever seen.
yeah. Mariposa, they're like Bibbles in it in the beginning and the end. And then Alina, the character from Fairytopia, is in the beginning and end. So you could have also seen Mariposa too, somehow, maybe. But essentially that story is also Alina just being like, hey Bibble, let me tell you the story of my friend Mariposa. So like those are the only two that, at least in this era, like they say out loud like that they exist in the same universe. And we'll be getting into how all the Barbie films connect. But and also in these film classics they have bloopers at the end. So like a lot of Pixar films, like Toy Story 2, I think has bloopers at the end or something.
Yeah.
Yes, they do for a lot of the Barbie films. I don't know this like if all of them do, but specifically Princess and the Pauper definitely has a blooper reel. Um, I
That's
think
so funny. I
it's
love when animation does that.
me
It
too.
gets
It's my
me
favorite.
every time. It really gets me. I wish that movies would bring back blooper reels.
I know.
And not as just
Same.
like an extra, like that you can only find in like a box set. I'm like, "Ugh, just give me
Yeah,
bloopers."
that's why I loved the ending credits to Bottoms because like it's
Yep.
just they're playing just like everyone's different takes on it or like messing up. It's amazing. Um, so I will say for the first few eras, I will give my recommendations to Olivia or any of you watching or listening that want my recommendations. So so actually my top three favorite Barbie films are all from this era. Might be biased. We'll see.
Your
So my first
PowerPoint.
favorite is Princess and the Pauper. That's like my favorite one. It's a musical. Um, it's Barbie plays the princess and the pauper.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yes. Is this the
Yes.
one that Curtis Connor did that video on?
Yes. So okay. So
Okay,
the
so I've
ones.
seen that from him.
Yes. Yeah. So Curtis Connor, I think did. I think he did Nutcracker. I don't know which one he did first to do versus Bratz. He did three of those videos, correct?
I don't remember. They
Okay.
kind of all blur
That makes a
for
lot of
me.
sense. I think he did Magic of the Pegasus, and then people got mad at him, and I was one of those commenters where they were like, you should have picked the better, like the best Barbie movie rather than choosing a random one. You should have chose Princess and the Pauper, which is because everyone agrees that that is kind of like, even if it's not your favorite, like everyone thinks like genuinely this is a great film. Um, Great film. Martin Short plays the villain. It's great. Um, the next one is 12 Dancing Princesses. This one is also great. Uh, does is not a musical, but that's okay. And then Barbie Diamond Castle is kind of a musical. And it's kind of has that essence of like its own original story, but still having a fairy tale element.
Mhm.
And I think the reason why I like Princess and the Pauper and Diamond Castle is that a lot of the like queer fans like those two movies because Diamond Castle, everyone's like, oh, those two are like cottagecore lesbians. And then Princess and the Pauper has like a cat who can bark instead of meow. And there's a whole song about her telling him, just bark. Like that's who you are. And also, he's a calico cat, and only calico cats, like, only like, but I forget what it is, but like, only like girl calico cats can have dots, and he
Oh.
does. So everyone thinks that cat
Oh.
is trans, which I support.
I just
Um,
love that sentence. Everyone thinks that cat is trans.
yeah, and also a lot of the times people will look at like the dresses of these two movies. Like for example, Erica from Princess and the Pauper, she wears all like a dress that is the color of the trans flag. And
Mm.
then in Diamond Castle, one of the girls has like the dress like the bi flag, and the other one has like the dress of like the lesbian flag colors. So a lot of the queer friends are like, anyway. So
Yeah, it's so I love there's a lot of things out there that are like not the lesbian flag, but like they didn't mean it, but it's just like those colors just go so good together that it's like everything is just that. Like my friend has this cup and I was like, "Oh, it's the lesbian flag colors." And she was like, "I've had this cup for years and I've never noticed." um I would like to know something. Uh
mhm.
the Barbie Three Musketeers, is that good?
Yes, that was also one of my favorites growing up. That's like my
Oh,
top five.
Okay, because I think I would like that, so that's why.
Yeah, that one's really fun. That one is, I remember watching it premiere on Nickelodeon. Um, it's really good. Tim Curry voices the villain, which, yeah, so Tim Curry voices both the villain in the Nutcracker and in the Three Musketeers.
Oh my
Great.
god.
Yeah, I know. And also, it's a fun movie. Like, you know, with some of these, like, girl animated films, a lot of the times, like, the friends don't feel like friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, Musketeers is nothing like that.
Cool. I love the Three Musketeers as a story, so that's why I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's not a musical, but there's some good songs in here. That's also another thing with the classic era. If it's not a musical, it's still gonna have a banger soundtrack or like a banger introduction song.
I have one more question.
Yes,
In A
please.
Christmas Carol, I need to know what the ghosts are like.
Oh, okay. I can send you Barbie, A Christmas Carol.
Are they like what are they? Are they like different things? Like, so you know how like sometimes it's like the Ghost of Christmas Past is a candle, or like I
Yeah.
don't know, like they're all like different things sometimes, or is it just like people?
They're kind of just people.
Okay.
So like the Spirit of Christmas Past is like a young girl in like a ballerina kind of outfit. They don't have, and then the Spirit of Christmas Future is a woman, but I don't know how she. I'm trying to see if she's like. I'm trying to see if she has any emotional connection to the main character. No. Okay. She's just a random lady. She's not like a creepy death thing like
Okay.
in
She's
most
just
of
like
it.
a lady.
And then the Spirit of Christmas Present is like, yeah, they're just all people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Usually Ghost of Christmas Present is like Santa or something, right? Or Santa adjacent.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of other Christmas Carol adaptations I've seen, and it's really only been the Muppets one and this one for me.
The Jim Carrey one is the one that gets played a lot in my household. My dad
Okay.
really loves that one.
I've never
And he's
seen that
like
one.
it's like the Disney one. They're all Jim Carrey. It's they are. um, like he's like a candle. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a candle, and his like flame head flickers, and my dad is terrified of it.
Yeah. I don't know how you survived that movie. That movie, like, I saw the trailers and I was like, the animation for that scared me.
Oh, it's scary, but I like it.
Well,
I don't know. We've said it before that I really like when I was little. I liked to scare myself with things, and that was one of them.
yeah, she just mostly like Christmas Present. She just looks kind of like she has red hair and a green dress, so she kind of looks like a present in a way.
Okay.
So
That's funny. Present. Are we moving on?
yeah, moving on to the second era.
Okay, I've for sure never seen a single one of these.
Okay, so the modern era, I call it consists from 2010 to 2015. So the modern era, majority of these stories and onward, Barbie doesn't really do a lot of fairy tale past stuff. Like there's not a lot of period pieces in a way. So stories have kind of started to be in present day or like in the future. There is a sci-fi Barbie movie, but we'll get there when we get there. And also just staying away from classic stories and kind of making it Barbie's own. So like you won't see like Barbie Sleeping Beauty in here because they didn't adapt that. They were actually trying to adapt that before. What? Yeah, well they were trying to adapt Sleeping Beauty Barbie before Nutcracker, but then I think Disney did something with the rights or something, so they couldn't adapt it. Anyway, I don't know much about that, so I can't really get as much into it as much as I would like to. I'll send you I think they had like animation, like teaser for it, but I can send them. So characteristics of this era include, as I said, present day setting. There's more apparent sequels and remakes in this era. So you have Barbie and a Mermaid's Tale, and then you have Barbie and a Mermaid's Tale 2. And then you also have the sequel to Mariposa in here, where she she doesn't get a girlfriend, but she gets a girlfriend. And then also we see the first instance of them remaking Princess and the Pauper. So there's a remake in this era called Princess and the Pop Star.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I've just never seen it.
Yeah, that's the one. Maybe this is the reason you might know it, maybe not. A lot of people kept editing Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter to play them in the movie.
Oh, I don't think I saw that either.
Okay,
but I think it might have just, I don't know, maybe they promoted it a lot or something. I don't know. I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me, so like there's just if there was a kids television on, then like maybe it was on TV or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this one a lot of people don't like, because a lot of the people that like it that like Princess and the Pauper, that's their favorite, they hate Princess and the Pop Star because they do try to they cover one of the songs from Princess and the Pauper. It's okay. I don't hate it or dislike it. I just think it's kind of like if you're gonna remake Princess of the Pauper, I think you should make them, because the whole thing with Princess of the Pauper is talking about different classes and classism, but instead she's a major pop star and the other one's a princess.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Also, this is the first time they kind of dive into Barbie, who she is, in her world. So we'll get into this later with how all the stories connect, but there's two films, Barbie, A Fashion Fairy Tale, and Barbie, A Fairy Secret, where you see Barbie be an actress. You see her act in films and even reference earlier films that she was acting in.
Like from the classic era?
Yeah. So
weird.
Yeah. So that is one of the kind of
meta.
Yes. So the beginning of Fashion Fairy Tale is her getting fired from a Princess P adaptation she's in.
Oh, crazy.
I know, it's insane. That also leads into, these are the introduction to more constant characters in the franchise. We had already seen Teresa in Diamond Castle. She essentially, Barbie plays the blonde one and Teresa plays the brunette one. But they both are in the introduction for Diamond Castle. So she was already kind of in there. We also have Kelly, who name changes to Chelsea later on.
I was going to say, I don't remember Kelly being a thing. I do remember Chelsea being a thing. And I remember in Skipper as well.
Yes.
Who was my favorite. You see, I wasn't a fan of these movies, but I had Barbies.
Yeah.
And I knew their names and stuff when I was playing with them. And I loved Skipper.
Oh, Skipper was my favorite too. So good choice. So we get the introduction of Therese, Grace, and then we also have kind of how Ken fits into the picture. This is kind of a similar thing, at least in this era, that they are dating. They are a couple. We will not probably really see that in current Barbie. And then we also have Raquel, who is kind of Barbie's mortal frenemy in a way.
Yeah, I do know Raquel from another thing.
Okay.
From a different thing.
Oh, a different thing completely, or related to Barbie?
Related to Barbie. I definitely know Raquel from a different thing, but I don't know if you're going to mention
I might reference what you're alluding to. So epic. This is also the last era that Barbie is as a character. So the rest of the Barbie films onward, she doesn't play a character. So in some of these films, she's playing Barbie as Merlia in a Barbie and a Mermaid's Tale. Barbie plays this character in Barbie and the Pink Shoes. She plays Mariposa. This is the last era. We will never see her play a character again, which is kind of sad. Yeah, so that, but like it's also an interesting kind of positive and negative, because now we're getting Barbie as a person, but now we're kind of losing that kind of fairy tale as like magic of it. I think like a good kind of middle ground of that is the fashion fairy tale and a fairy secret, which are two of my favorite ones of this era, because it does do like Barbie as a person, but also still have like a little ounce of magic in it. And also I liked Barbie and a Mermaid Tale because I liked mermaids. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, what is your opinion on those? Because I know that you like mermaids.
I do like Fairytopia, the Mermaidia one, like as my favorite Barbie mermaid movie. But I do like the Pearl Princess, which is another mermaid movie. And I do like Mermaid Tale too, but they're not my top ones.
Okay, it's funny how they went meta and they were like, and now we will never have Barbie be a character ever again.
Yeah, it's insane. They were like, "Ooh, we did a little too much with this," and I'm like, "Guys,
yeah,
but
or
that was
maybe like, or maybe like the meta ones did really well, and they were like, well, people like seeing Barbie as Barbie, so then maybe they were just like, oh, we'll just keep Barbie as Barbie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's an interesting kind of era
You
of
telling Bibble to stop?
Bibble, stop singing opera, because he does that in Barbie Mermaidia. So yeah, so it's really weird, but I mean, well, there is something that does get a little more into satire in this PowerPoint presentation. Do you have anything else to ask?
Not about this one. Yeah, not about this era.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next era. Era 3 is the Barbie era. This is from 2015 to 2017. This is an era, I will say, that I don't know much about. It's also one of the shorter ones. So I called this the Barbie era because all the stories from now on, as I said, Barbie is the main character. So all these characters in these films are referenced as Barbie or Barbara Roberts. And this is also around the time that the Barbie vlogs became a thing. So that's why, like, you see her more now as a teenager rather than a young adult. Yeah.
I've never heard of a single one of these movies or even seen any of this.
I think I've seen Starlight Adventure, and I think that's it.
Starlight Adventure, they are on hoverboards.
Yeah, that's the next thing with one of the characteristics of this era. So the first characteristic I had was it's a lot of focus more on her and her sisters. So this is where we see Skipper, we see Chelsea, and we see shit.
Oh no, you don't remember?
Chelsea.
I didn't know there was another
Stacy.
one.
Her name's Stacy.
I did know there was another one. Just kidding. I did know that.
Hey,
yeah, some of these images I am seeing are wild right now. There's one where they're in like where they're, I don't know, superheroes or spies or something, and then I'm seeing one where they're on hoverboards. Which I need to know what the context is behind that. And then there's one where they're like on like, it looks like Candyland, but it's a video game.
Yeah, they get sucked into a video game in that movie, supposedly.
Oh my gosh.
Supposedly. I think I started watching that movie and I was like, what is this? And then I just stopped. Yeah, so there's no focus on her and her sisters. There had been films previously where they were included, but not like majority like every other film. It's more apparent in this time around, and it's definitely more apparent in the next era. But also there's more sci-fi than magic / princess stuff in here. I think there's only one other film after this kind of has like princess in the title of it. They kind of tried to steer away from that and use more of a sci-fi kind of vibe with like, you know, like the Starlight Adventures in Space or something, and video game hero, they're sucked into a video game. So like that kind of thing of kind of staying away from like the magical princess
Got it.
element of it.
This is I feel like so are these like not liked in the Barbie fandom, or like what's going on? What are the thoughts and feelings?
So a lot of the people in the Barbie fandom, and I will say this, a lot of the biases are what they watched as children. So I think that there's a lot of bias in which ones are the good ones, which ones are the bad ones. I think
How many have you seen in this?
in the Barbie era, I've seen one, and I started the video game hero. I did like Starlight Adventure. I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't think it was like
Why
that
are they
bad.
on hoverboards? I need to know why they're on hoverboards.
I think they're in space. I think they're on a planet. I don't know. I don't remember. But I think they're like it's like a space thing.
That's kind of fun though.
Yeah, that one I will. Yeah, I think there's some like cool ideas in it, but then there's some that you're like they ran out of ideas, like the Spy Squad and the video game hero. Like, what's happening?
Yes. Okay, but you know how I feel about like spies and superhero things. Would I like the Spy Squad?
I don't remember what the plot of this one is actually. Okay. maybe you should find out.
Maybe, yeah, and then I'll report back. We'll see, actually.
Yeah.
We'll see if I do that.
Oh wait, this is an interesting plot. When a top secret spy agency notices their amazing skills, Barbie and two of her best friends transform from hardworking gymnasts to undercover secret agents.
Why is every woman spy a different version of Natasha Romanoff?
That's your next presentation, is all of the spies in fiction that is essentially just Natasha Romanoff.
Yes. Yeah, they'll do that, but they'll never give us actual Natasha Romanoff, which is what she deserves.
That is what she deserves.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so
I've seen every single episode of this because my sister was huge into this, and this is the funniest show I've ever seen.
It's hilarious. So for those who don't know, the slide that I have next is my timeout slide, which is essentially Barbie life in the dream house. So
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I accidentally muted the mic, and I don't know how I got it back up, but guys, it took me like 20 minutes to get the mic back up when I muted it last time. Okay, sorry.
You're so good. So, Barbie Life in the Dream House was a web series posted from 2012 to 2015 on YouTube, and it's set in a fictionalized Malibu, California, but it is inhabited by dolls. You said that you watched this with your sister.
I watched this with my sister, and then my sister, she does one of those things, like now she's 14 now, and she's hit that like period in her life where like she's watching like live action like teen dramas, so she'll get like really nostalgic about the things that she watched as like a little kid, and she'll sometimes just like throw this on.
Yeah, genuinely this show is like awesome.
It's so funny.
So funny.
I highly recommend it, and I'm not kidding, like you know how some people are like, oh yeah, it's funny, but like for little kids, like no, this is funny. Like, you know, like when you watch like a SpongeBob episode back and you're like, okay, this was genuinely hilarious, that's what this is.
Yeah. No, hilarious. And I think it's very much like equated to kind of the satire and also how it's stylized too.
Yeah, yes, and this is where I know Raquel from. So
yes, that's what I thought. When you said that you knew Raquel, I was like, the only thing she could know Raquel from is Life in the Dream House.
Yeah. Did they have Raquel dolls?
Yes,
like
I think so.
Dolls?
I'm sure they probably do. I need to check, but I'm sure wait, maybe not for Fairy Secret. I was thinking like maybe not for Fairy Secret because she was the main girl.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
I like how I raised my hand like I'm in class. Do you think that or not do you think, but like do you know if every single one of these movies had like a doll counterpart?
So my answer to that is Essentially, yes. A lot of the times with a lot of the films, they would have Barbies with it. Like, I can tell
Yeah.
you, like, I had a lot of the classic era Barbie dolls. Like,
I had a Fairytopia one, and it came with like the movie was in the back of the doll thing.
oh, so you
Like,
mean like something like that?
well, I don't mean something like that. I just mean in general. You
Oh,
answered my question. I'm just saying that's how I got the doll was with the movie in the same box.
yeah. Essentially, the dolls were either the films were the advertisements for the dolls, or the dolls were the advertisement for the film in a
That's what
way.
that's what I figured.
Yeah,
But
I'm not.
I just wanted confirmation, I guess.
Yeah, you're good. Your confirmation was correct. Also, now that you're saying that, one of the classic era movies, Barbie, like Magic of the Pegasus, was in 3D. So I like had 3D glasses with that DVD that somehow I lost. That you could watch it in that way. And I think they had a special, I don't think it was 3D. I think it was just a special, like, it's in 3D, but it's not. So I tried to use
Okay.
like my Shark Boy and Lava Girl 3D glasses to
That's what
watch.
I was just about to say. 3D in the way that in the same way that Shark Boy and Lava Girl is 3D, where it's like I'm not using those glasses.
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, I'm not in the movie theater. I'm not using those glasses.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it did anything. I'm trying to remember for Magic
No,
of the Pegasus. Well, I was just from
no,
Spy Kid. I mean, not Spy Kids. Shark Boy and Lava Girl definitely did not do anything
no,
with the 3D.
didn't do anything. Also, um, we used to. I think Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Spy Kids are like in the same category, and that's why you messed that up. But it's so funny to me because they both like in my head. I'm like maybe they take place in the same
Well,
universe.
it's done
Shark
by
Boy
the
and Lava
same
Girl.
director.
And, well, yeah, but I'm
Oh yeah.
like, do you think they like make sense? Like make like they're in the same universe?
I was originally going to be like, wait, wasn't there a sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl and the Spy Kids were in it? But that's not true. Um, I feel like they could be. But the shit
We
that
could do
happened,
more research on that probably.
yeah. But I think the more times I think about what happens in the Spy Kids franchise, the more and more I can see a Shark Boy and a Lava Girl being in that universe.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's Glenn Powell exists in that. I don't remember what his character's name
I
is.
don't either. I just know he's the kid that other kid has to battle. And then that's the same movie where Elijah Wood is the guy.
Yeah. Yes. Ah, I love Elijah Wood.
I love
Okay.
Elijah Wood. So back to Barbie Life in the Dream House. I also put down that it has a similar satire to Barbie 2023, which I will also mention. It's kind of like they all know their dolls, they all know the brand, and they kind of poke fun at it. Like there's a scene where like Barbie has like clothes from all her careers, so she like talks about how
Oh
she
yeah.
like has so many careers. Like she's a doctor, she's like an
It
astronaut.
this Barbie Life in the Dream House is kind of like essential viewing before you watch the live action Greta Gerwig Barbie
I
movie.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Um, so yeah, that was that for Barbie Life in the Dream House. Now we move on to era 4, the current era of Barbie. I like to call this the Netflix era. So it originally started in 2017, then they had a little break, then it's been going on since 2020. And why do I call this the Netflix era? It's because they're only released on Netflix. They are not released in any other capacity. I mean, I don't think they're on DVD. Like they're just released on Netflix. So the characteristics of this era, as mentioned earlier, this is Barbie as herself as a teenager rather than a young adult. There's consistent characters in it. They just recently introduced like her kind of like new best friend, Brooklyn Barbie in Barbie Takes Two. So
Hmm.
she's Malibu Barbie and her friend is Brooklyn Barbie. They're in the middle of that circle there. Barbie's
Okay. Wait,
sisters.
is
What?
she okay? I do know Brooklyn Barbie but why? Why do I know?
I don't know.
Um,
I do.
YouTube, something YouTube.
I'm sure they probably. I think she's in the Dreamhouse Adventures, which I think are on YouTube.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Something, I don't know. Move on. Let's move on.
But she was recently introduced, so she's in a lot of the stuff. I love her. I've seen her in Barbie Mermaid Power, and she is the best part of it. In addition, Barbie sisters are all there. Ken takes more of a backseat role. He's not really a boyfriend, he's more of her friend. And then Isla the mermaids, she's in two of these. So that's another constant character in this. Consistent storylines, they reference other films, events in others, or sequels to some. So, like, for example, Barbie Dolphin Magic and then Mermaid Power are continued stories. They deal with the same villain.
The names are so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Like, what do you mean dolphin magic?
And it's funny that you mentioned that film because when I was in my final year of high school, um, I did a lot of my journalism. Like I got my stuff done, so I would always like be really bored. And one time, my friend and I decided to edit the Barbie Dolphin Magic like Wikipedia page because there was nothing of a summary. Never
so
finished, but I think someone finished it for us. So thank you to that person.
That's so funny.
Thank you. I try. There's also more ensemble cast and inclusion of Barbie's family, as mentioned. That's a lot of that in, oh my gosh, what is it called? Princess Adventure, which is the second remake of Princess and the Pauper, where Barbie switches places with a princess. So,
what's the dog's name?
What's the dog's names?
Yeah,
I
had the one that poops.
Yes.
Where you pull the tail and it poops. I had that one. And when I saw it in the Greta Gerwig Barbie movie, I literally flipped out. I was like, I had that.
I'm trying to see. No, I don't want the ones from Diving Castle. There's a Barbie wiki with dogs. So Taffy is the Barbies.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's different ones for each of the Roberts sisters. There's Taffy that is Barbie's, DJ, which is Skipper's, Rookie, which is Stacy's, and Honey that is Chelsea's, and there's 4 other ones.
4?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's kind of the movies that have the dogs in them. There's sometimes
but Barbie's so busy. How's she taking care of dogs?
I don't know. And like here's the thing. She does it all. But it's also like when the dogs are like in the film, they'll like have a subplot where the dogs just go and do something, and it's like, guys,
I love that. I actually love that. I know people don't like B plots with like sidekick characters where it's like we don't really know these characters, we don't really know their personalities. I love one of those. They're so silly and stupid.
I mean, I would be down with that if it wasn't like just dogs that don't talk and then they just run around.
No, it's so dumb. That's why I like it. It's so dumb.
Okay, and then
so,
also
like, it's just like silly.
It's just fun.
Like,
it's just
why
silly.
is that there? Like to read, it's just there to like pad the runtime or something, and it's so funny.
It's so funny. And also this film takes place. The films in this era take place before and after the Barbie Dreamhouse Adventures, which is different from Life in the Dreamhouse. This is, I believe, a Netflix series where it's just like modern Barbie with her teenage friends and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we get into the whole Barbie connection. How do all of these films connect? And so one of the first things that connects all these Barbie movies together is there's a lot of similar character designs or just repeats of character designs. We all know that animation is tough and timely and money cost, and to do cost efficiently, a lot of the times they'll redo similar character designs. But the Barbie fans are like, actually, this is because this character is actually this character, or they're related to this character that is in this movie. So it kind of like just goes on than it needs to be. There's like, it's kind of like similar to like, you know how not Tangled, in Frozen when Anna walks out and there's Flynn and Rapunzel. it's a similar vein of like there's a character that is essentially like same character design, same outfit, and people will just be like,
This is how the Pixar theory came to be.
Yes.
And I could do a whole episode about why I hate the Pixar theory, but
and I would love to hear it. There's also, like we were discussing earlier, there's a whole thing with Barbie as an actress. So in Fashion Fairy Tale, she references the Three Musketeers. She's like, when I was filming Three Musketeers, we did this. So it's confirmed yes, which also confirms essentially, because Three Musketeers is a part of the classic era. So you can take from that Barbie did all those other films, like Barbie as Rapunzel, Barbie as Nutcracker, all of those with the bloopers and stuff. And then also
so because the bloopers,
exactly,
yes, okay, the dots are connecting, everything is
coming together,
forming, everything's coming together.
And then the other thing that's in a Fashion Fairy Tale is that she's in her trailer and a poster for Mermaid Tale is there.
That's so fun.
Yeah, love it. And then also the other thing is just Barbie and her friends and family. Like you'll see some of the characters come back that were there originally.
You said that Ken was introduced in the modern era, or?
So Ken, so in the classic era, there was always a Ken-like character, but it wasn't Ken. So so modern era is when they actually like introduce Ken, like Barbie's like dating Ken. And then also it's canonic that Barbie has a dad and a mom. And
I've never thought about that.
I know, but they confirmed it.
I'm just like, oh, it's just Barbie.
Exactly.
She just existed one day.
She just popped into existence, you know?
But it's also funny that you say that, but then they're also like that she has family, but they're also like, we're well aware that we're dolls.
So my next thing is the Barbie timelines theory. So this is essentially just like how a lot of the Barbie fandom incorporate how all these movies work within a timeline. So essentially, they believe everything is backwards. They think that the current Barbie movies where Barbie is a teenager and she's vlogging, that was
first.
That was first. So
they've FNAF 2'd it. Where Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place before Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. So like Netflix era Barbie vlogs take place during Barbie's teen years. This is just before she is famous, just vlogging, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And then the next thing is what we were talking about, Barbie, young adult actress, the classic era, modern era. The films that Barbie as a young adult actress acts in. This is confirmed in what we discussed and the bloopers. Also my whole thing is that I think that since Kelly's name was changed in Life of the Dream, like before Life in the Dream House, I theorize that Kelly is just the fictionalized version of Chelsea that plays in Barbie's.
Oh, that's fun.
So like I'm sure Chelsea is playing Kelly, but obviously they don't want to use her real name. So that's my theory.
That's fun.
Yeah.
A film theory. So is there anybody to go to confirm these theories? Like when I brought up the example of Five Nights at Freddy's, and what we do is we just go bug Scott Cawthorn and get nothing. But is there anything? No, that's so sad. Not that we were getting anything with FNAF, but like still, like at least I feel like we had like an anchor point, like somebody to like go to, even if we didn't get any answers. I guess it feels comfortable to have like somebody who knows the answer, but it's like, is there nobody that
I just
don't go to that just like knows the answer, or like
the closest person I can think of is Greta Gerwig, but she didn't direct these films.
Yeah, Greta, we ask her, we're like, Greta, you need to tell us are the Barbie movies, are they all connected? And
Like,
she's like, I don't know.
the only person I can think of is the original voice of Barbie, Kelly Sheridan, and then whoever's voicing Barbie now, but I don't even think they would know.
Okay.
So we're
Well,
on our own.
that sucks.
Yeah, it's rough, buddy. So my final slide, since we were just talking about Greta Gerwig and Barbie 2023, does Barbie 2023 fit into the BCU? Personally, yes. If a film that includes Barbie, it works. There's some way that these can connect. However, even with that, there are references, at least according to Barbie fans, to the Barbie animated series in the 2023 Barbie movie. So, one of the things that people noticed was the gold heart locket that Margot Robbie wears kind of near the end of the film is similar to Clara's locket in Barbie the Nutcracker, which is a whole plot point within that film that she uses the necklace to go home or something. So it's a similar plot beat to
Right.
Barbie becoming human.
To play devil's advocate, though.
Okay.
We just talked about how there are dolls associated with the movies. How do we know that they weren't just like a doll is wearing this necklace? Let's just put it in the movie, and it ended up being a big old coincidence. Sorry,
Yeah,
Barbie
no.
fans. We brought it up earlier that there was dolls that corresponded with the movies. So.
Yeah, that's why I said according to Barbie fans, because obviously, like, this is not.
I don't mean
like,
to start beef with you, Barbie fans.
No.
I will trust you. I will trust you. It's just I wanted to play devil's advocate.
No, you're so right. And definitely, I'm sure that like these two things, like literally, they just saw a doll with something like it, and they're like, "We're gonna put this in the movie," and everyone's like, "Okay, these are from the animated films, so we're gonna count that as a reference."
Yeah,
so
I'm not gonna be crapping on your theories. I'm just
no.
I just wanted to play devil's advocate.
That's why
for
they're a
second.
theory.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll believe you guys. I'll ride with you.
And then the second,
it's more fun that way.
Yeah,
so
it's
I'll
more
go with
fun.
whatever's most fun.
So true. And then, in addition, in one of the Barbie trailers that they released, a fan noticed that one of the buildings in Barbie Land has a design similar to the design of Barbie in Barbie: A Fairy Secret.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, it's Barbie and A Fairy Secret!" So it's a reference.
I mean, that looks like it. I'm looking at a picture that looks like it.
Yeah, the
blue
coloring,
and the pink, and yeah,
the style. But that is it for my presentation. Thank you for listening. Mattel, if you are watching or listening to this, I have a pitch for you for how you should do the Barbie movies.
Yes, and Mattel, you should tell me if they all connect. That's who we can go to.
That's
Mattel.
who we can go to, Mattel.
Yes, Mattel, if you were listening, please tell me. And also, Mattel, I love Bibble. Add him in more things.
My partner hates Bibble.
I love Bibble.
Me too. But his first,
I've only seen Bibble in one movie, to be completely fair, but still.
I will say, I think seeing Mermaidia, I think you'll love him even more.
Yes. Okay.
Epic.
You're gonna have to text me a list of movies that you think I'll like.
Oh my gosh, I will do that like right after we wrap. I'll be like, "Hey Olivia, here's all the Barbie movies I think you'll like."
Yeah, and then like I'll be with family during Christmas, and we all pick something to watch and just like watch them fully through. Me and my cousins. Like last time we watched, they hadn't seen Haunting of Hill House or Bly Manor, so last time, me and my cousins, we just did that. We watched Hill House and Bly Manor fully through. We stayed up till like 3 a.m. and not on the same day, but like we were busy during the day, so then at nights we'd do it, and it was so fun. So maybe we'll do the Barbie movies that are on the list.
Yeah.
Next time.
Actually, now that you're saying that, I think Haunting of Hill House was the last TV show that like I stood up to watch because I wanted to figure out what was happening. Like,
really?
Yeah, I haven't seen a show that like I've been like up like till 2 a.m. watching, not like Haunting of Hill House.
I'm trying to think because nowadays, I like that we're going back to the one episode a week format. That makes me very happy. I love the anticipation of like waiting for another episode. And I know some people just like the binge watching thing. My parents love the binge watching thing, but I just feel so empty and depressed.
No, that's
after binge
understandable.
watching. So I'm glad that we're doing that, but I'm trying to think of a show where like everything came out all at once, where I had to like binge it. And I don't know. I don't know. If there's anyone, I don't know. I guess something on Netflix probably, because Netflix still dumps everything on the same day.
Mm.
Netflix, stop doing that, please. I like the one episode a week format. But yeah, I don't know. Also, Yellow Jackets is on Netflix, so those who haven't seen Yellow Jackets, go watch it immediately. I love it so much. All right. So now that we've done Barbie, are the Barbie movies a pop culture high or a pop culture low? I think we know the answer. Oh.
It's a high, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
good.
it's a high. I thought you were about to like say that, like argue that it's not. And
Oh
I was
no,
like,
I'm not.
"Oh, what?"
No, I'm not. I'm not arguing that. No, I
No,
still watch
yeah.
those movies.
Yeah, I think that like it's a big part of a lot of people's childhoods. So I'm like, of course that's a pop culture high. Even though, I haven't seen a lot of them, but I still think it's a pop culture high. So are we in agreement? Pop
Yes.
culture high, the Barbie movies.
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right, if you guys disagree with us, what happened?
I hit my elbow on the desk. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I didn't see it. I was like going to do the outro and
I'm sorry. You started doing it, and I was like, oh no.
Okay. I don't know why you guys would disagree with us, but if you do disagree with us about Barbie being a pop culture high, then you can go ahead and put that in the comments or geek out with us about the Barbie movies in the comments or go over to our socials to do it. There are links in the description for all of our socials. If you prefer to go listen to the show on another platform, there are links to alternative platforms in the description as well. Also, follow As I've Media on all social platforms for more great content. We will catch you back here in the Hive next week, but until then, please take care of yourselves. We have been Hives and Lows.